going on, Jerome's? So mercifully, we're very close to the 2024 NFL draft, but it's fun to look back to 2023 last year when we were just kids, right? And Bryce Young went 1, CJ Stroud went 2, and had, frankly, one of the best rookie seasons in NFL history with the Texans. Anthony Richardson, if he didn't ding up his shoulder, would have had a great season, is what it is. But remember this time last year, it was seen as a 4-horse race for the number 1 overall pick, and Kentucky's Will Levis was also in that derby. And people saw, okay, well, Levis has the big time arm and that upside, and he's not 5'2" like Bryce Young, and he's not as raw as Anthony Richardson. And CJ Stroud tested poorly on that one thing, so whatever. But Will Levis is the safest pick, and a lot of people ready to die on that hill. And the Kentucky gunslinger, despite all of the mayo in his coffee, it's just like, hey, he's going to be the guy. He is indeed going to be the savior. Not so much. So Will Levis was waiting in that green room for a long time on opening night, although his ex-girlfriend went viral, so maybe she was the biggest winner of Thursday night. Who knows? But ultimately, Levis was the first pick in the second round by the Tennessee Titans, who passed on him in the first round. But I mean, he had one nice game as a rookie, has some potential there. We'll see what happens with him and new head coach Brian Callahan. But there's a ton of hype about Levis and the Vikings. Everyone and their mom. Oh, Will Levis here, big time arm, big time cannon, could take over for Kirk Cousins once it's all said and done. And there was a ton of hype. I mean, it was only a year ago, and sure, there's some revisionist history in there, but I mean, it was legit. Like, the media grabbed that bone and ran with it. Pete Prisco over at CBS Sports was all in on Will Levis. He even had him as the number 1 overall pick or number 2 overall pick in some of his mock drafts. And hell, even Golf Digest, some bro on Reddit is claiming Will Levis will go first overall, and you won't believe how much his odds just tanked. So yeah, Will Levis, his odds got significantly shorter for the number 1 overall pick right towards the end. But and also, you forget all the mock drafts, like mock draft 17.0. I think this was from The Athletic too. So the Vikings trading up to 2 from 23. Okay. And then the Vikings trading up to 7 from 23. Not so much. But long story longer. So a lot of people have questioned the meteoric rise of JJ McCarthy. Now, is it a meteoric rise because of the media catching up to how the league actually feels about a prospect, or is it just to the moon? But JJ McCarthy, all he did was win no matter what at Michigan, but didn't put up the stats, but does have NFL traits and has that winning pedigree and also an alpha attitude and a good leader. So will that translate to the National Football League? Yes, I think that it certainly will. But there are some valid questions of, is JJ McCarthy this year's Will Levis, right? But I don't think that he is. All right, so Levis was largely media created, and several head coaches, several GMs this year have effused praise with JJ McCarthy. Now, yes, all of that could be smokescreen too, but just a large coordinated smokescreen. Nah, I don't see that. And also with McCarthy, there's been consistent leaks from scouts or evaluations from anonymous executives that they do love the attributes of JJ McCarthy. Wasn't really that last year with Levis. A lot of it really was the media just like up with the Levis. Plus, I do think that McCarthy is more pro-ready. Levis did put up some big-time numbers at Kentucky, but, I mean, accuracy is not on point. The arm is strong but can be erratic. And also there's fewer intangible questions with JJ McCarthy. He's a freaking Boy Scout. We all know that. And there are several quarterback-needy teams this year. And McCarthy, if you would have put McCarthy in the pool with Young, Richardson, Stroud, even though, yes, hindsight 2020 with Stroud, imagine, just think of where he was last year, and Will Levis. I mean, McCarthy might have been the number 1 overall pick. So I don't think that McCarthy is Will Levis. Now, could it be a spot where McCarthy isn't that top 4 pick? Maybe he does take a slide. Maybe the Vikings somehow, some way can get him at number 11. I mean, it's possible, sure. But do I see McCarthy just bombing out of the first round? No. I don't see that happening. Like I said, could you see a world where somehow McCarthy isn't in the top 6 picks, or the Giants pass on him and he trickles on through and then he gets to 11 potentially, or the Broncos or the Raiders don't trade up for him? Yes, I think that's possible, but just falling out of the first round like Will Levis did, nah, I don't see that. So Will Levis, I mean, this should have been the largest red flag, right? And we just ignored it. It happens, man. It happens. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Is JJ McCarthy's this year's Will Levis? No. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.